Guys, right up front, I was not originally scheduled to be the MC, so I'm punting today, so I'm going to ask for a little bit of grace as we go about this. But we're going to do our best that we can and welcome all of you today. And just, again, thankful for some break in the weather. It is not 100 and some degrees, and so life is good, and I'm guessing that our guest is really happy about that right now. So we'll talk about that and we'll get going and get started with our day. Let's see. What is 1 million cups? For those of you, any new people here today? We have any new first timers? We do have one. Great. Make sure everybody see who this is and make sure that you say hi and visit and do all that kind of stuff. What we are, we're a free weekly program. Gives local businesses and the community builders the opportunity to share ideas, engage with the rest of the community, talk about their business, and hopefully get some ideas and thoughts from all of you, as well as learning a few things and passing some stuff back. So that's what we do every week. I don't know, I'm not advancing, Noah. What am I doing wrong? Oh, there we go. So, what's our big takeaway? Can we change the face of our startup community by connecting local entrepreneurs over 1 million cups of coffee? Now, we're not going to do 1 million in Bismarck, so this is a nationwide program. So we're doing it, and that's our plan. I'm guessing with everybody that's done this throughout the country, we've exceeded our 1 million. And we should be going from there. So, special thanks to our sponsors. We have individuals that put money into the program and help us pay for our venue and the coffee that you have and all of those kinds of things, and we need to thank those folks. National Day Calendar, the Chamber, Sandsted Law Office, Goldman Sachs. So if you see those folks, thank them for being a part of our program here. Our Grande sponsors, the University of Mary and Dakota Bank. And our tall sponsors, Cappuccino and Collins, it's your coffee that you enjoy, Coffee with Clyde, Sanford Home Care, BizBlocks, Gizmonics, and I always forget, is it Agasse? I got to find and learn the proper pronunciation of that with Arnie when I see him. Then, special thanks to in-kind sponsors. We have a lot of sponsors that provide people and time to help us out, that come in and set up and do all the work. So all of those folks, same thing. If you see them, please thank them for that. At the end of the presentation, there's going to be some time for some Q&A. So as our presenter is up today, please think of thoughts, ideas, questions that you might have, and be prepared to share that with him. Now we'll do some community announcements. Again, I didn't get a chance to look at this. National Underwear Day. When I was told this one, I thought, yeah, it would have to be a day that I'm punting up here at the MC. That is, I got to talk to Marlo about this. This is a different type of deal. But anyway, National Underwear Day. You can share that with whomever you're comfortable doing that with. And other than that, I think I'm just going to go on from there. But it's an interesting concept, I think, to have that day. Do we have anybody from the chamber? Here we go.
Morning, everyone. Alex from the Bismarck Mandan Chamber EDC. Another reminder that our Bismarck Business Pitch Challenge is live. You can see we're approaching that deadline of August 21st. We got some good applicants in, but always could use more. The more the merrier. If you are an entrepreneur or you know any entrepreneurs that might benefit from a program like that where you're given a pitch of your business in competition for a $15,000 forgivable loan, it's a nice little starting kind of gift for entrepreneur or a company as they're getting off the ground. So the QR code was up there. Otherwise, the website is on our Chamber EDC website. If you just search Bismarck Business Pitch Challenge, the information will pop up there. And if there's any questions, both my contact and Noah upstairs, our contacts are on the website. So encourage everyone to apply.
Thank you. All right. Are we good on slides, Noah, or? Sorry, but there we go. Yeah, we got that one. Do we have anybody here from the nonprofit networking group this morning? Okay. The Coffee and Conversation, the Bismarck Nonprofit Networking Group, they meet the first Thursday of every month. from 9 to 10 up at BSC National Energy Center for Excellence, room 103. And the next meeting is this Thursday, right, Joe? Okay. And there's a speaker this week, is that right?
Yes, from America.
We'll let Joe tell you a little bit about it. I know he's a bigger part of it than I am, so.
I'm just the host. I believe the speaker that's coming in is AmeriCorps, and they're going to work with nonprofits about how you can have a partnership with them for individuals to work with your nonprofit. So this is open, as Kara would always say, it's open to anybody in the Mandan, Bismarck, greater region who is a nonprofit leader, could be an executive director, development person. Most months that we are at BSC, we generally are just coming up with a topic, maybe a pain point that everybody's sharing, and just really working out different ideas to overcome shortfalls. So, thank you.
Very good. You bet. Thank you. All right. What else do we have? Bismarck Man Community Foundation. Anybody? Okay. The Impact Awards. And see, Community Commitment, Young Changemaker, Volunteer Impact, those awards, nominations are due by August 30th. So if you have anybody you want to nominate, the QR code, I'm assuming, will take you through the application process and do that. Is anybody involved with that has information that they could share a little bit more than I do have? What's that? Okay, all right. So information, if you're interested at all, scan the QR code and follow from there, and that should get you all you want. Leadership North Dakota, do we have anybody from there? Good. I'm glad.
Thank you. You're welcome. Good morning, I'm Caitlin with the University of Mary. We have applications open for our Leadership North Dakota program. They're open for about 6 more weeks. Leadership North Dakota is a leadership program. We get about 18 is our max of leaders from across the state, all different industries, all different backgrounds. We get together a Wednesday, Thursday every month, January to June, in a different community across the state. We do a book study, we do organizational tours, we do some pretty high-level networking, get in front of a lot of good groups. So applications are open for that. If you have some other questions about it or just want to know a little bit more about it, we're going to have a virtual Q&A on August 11th at noon. That's open to anybody, so please reach out to us, join us. We'd love to have you.
Thank you very much. Very good. Thank you. All right. Let's see what else we have. Dakota Safety Network, the individual. Okay. Their Fall Safety Conference is coming up in November, so it looks like November 17th, and up at Bismarck State College at the Bevendick Room. So again, QR code if you want to get more additional information on that and what they're doing. Go from there. They also do this Falkirk Mine Tour, which is coming up in September. If you haven't been to Falkirk Mine, you might want to think about doing this. It's really a cool opportunity to go up and see what some of these other operations do that we don't get a chance to see on a day-to-day business or a day-to-day basis. So again, scan the QR code, get some more information, and think about doing that. Dakota Basketball League. I know he walked in this morning. I saw that. So here you go.
Hello, my name is Markel Evans, and I'm a part of the Bismarck Capitalists. So if you're not aware, there is a new basketball league that is forming in North Dakota. Some of you guys might remember the Wizards. That's kind of the same thing here. So all local teams in the state of North Dakota, and I'm on the Bismarck team. We're going to have our first event January 9th. It's going to start off with a kids camp. We're going to have our first game at 11:30, and then we'll have like a all-star, dunk contest, three-point contest, skills challenge. But the reason I had this up is because I'm working closely with the owner, and he's looking for some sponsorships, partnerships. We recently just got Total Nutrition and Minot, and we just partnered up with Chick-fil-A here in Bismarck. So if you know anyone or yourself that's interested in being a part of this new league, reach out to me, and I can get you connected with the owner.
Thank you very much. Okay. Suits and Boots. Is Chris here? What's that? I'm just doing everything. So today, this is the Ann Carlson School. They have one of their big events, and that's coming up actually within the next week, August 13th. They do a dinner, live auction, and a social and getting to know each other. It's one of their bigger fundraisers of the year. And I forget where they're at 16-3 main events on Main Street here in Mandan, or Bismarck, is where they're going to have this event on the 13th. Again, Q&R code, and you can get more additional information and register and be a part of that. Any other community announcements that anybody might have? Anything that you want to share before we get started this morning? Okay. So, we're going to move forward with our individual today, and we'll introduce him and go from there. And I've been kind of reminded that I should have introduced myself a little bit. Mark Wagner, I'm with the North Dakota Women's Business Center. And again, I want to thank all of you for making it here today. We have a relatively new business that we're going to give the opportunity to visit with, and Schmidt Seasonal Services. And we're going to let him share how he got started, what he's doing, where he wants to go. And again, please gather your questions and thoughts so that when he is done, that we can visit with him and talk about where he's going and get some thoughts and help him out. So I will bring him to the stage and let him get started. If you welcome him, thank you. Thanks. There you go.
I'm Andrew Schmidt, Schmidt Seasonal Services, and I run a landscaping excavating company out of Bismarck, Mandan, and the surrounding areas. So just a little bit of our company history. I started in 2022. I started as a junior in high school, and a little bit of my prior history before that. My first ever job like this, I was working for my next door neighbor starting in middle school, working on in-ground pools. As I said, I started in middle school, so I had to tell him that I was his grandson, so he didn't get in trouble. And I just loved it. After the first year of doing it, COVID started, so that next year I actually worked with my brother who had been doing it before, and I was 14, he was 18, and we ran our whole crew by ourselves because of COVID, and they were some older gentlemen that had some health issues, so they didn't want us to get them sick, and they didn't want to get us sick. So me and my brother, we ran our own crew by ourselves, and he knew that I knew everything, so I basically did everything. And from there, they got bought out, and I worked for a new company and seen that new company grow. And I worked for them for over 6 years. I had done snow removal in the winter time with a handful of other companies, and we had that record year. So I actually had to start an LLC, and I worked full-time snow removal that winter with another company, getting subcontracted out, and they had offered me an opportunity to work in lawn care and landscaping and take over some of their accounts, and I got really invested into it. And I thought it was a great opportunity until I ran the numbers and realized it was not. But I was already invested and decided, well, if they're just going to give me those accounts for that price, I can just go out and do that myself. So in 2022, as a junior in high school, I decided I was still working one more year for that pool company, and I started doing landscaping and lawn care on the side. We quickly got super busy, and I hired a full-time lawn care employee, and I had 3 to 4 employees on the side, which helped me when I was done with work. And after a full summer of working 70, 80, 90-hour weeks, and I think I took maybe 1 or 2 days off on a weekend that whole summer, I got a little bit burnt out, and we had a really successful summer as we Got a full lawn care setup, a couple of company vehicles, skid steer, dump trailer, all the equipment that we needed. That we ended up, after that full winter of doing snow removal again and having a successful winter, as my senior year of high school, I went into it all on my own. I had 2 full-time employees, which were mowing for us during the day while I was in English class. And then from there, I had 3 full-time high school and college kids who worked every day after school and the whole summer with us. And then all the way till present day, we got super busy with everything that we've been doing. We ended up stopping our lawn care service, and we're strictly just a project-based company. So now we strictly just do landscaping, excavating, and hardscaping. Some of the services that we offer are retaining walls, patios, fire pits, rock beds, grading, and all the other landscaping stuff that you can think of. Kind of from when we first started, there wasn't any difference in the projects that we offered. We just were more of a maintenance-focused company. So we would do a lot of lawn care, spring cleanups, fall cleanups, a lot of the smaller rock bed work and landscaping. And we still do a handful of that maintenance, but only with the landscaping side. And then from there, we've also done a lot of hardscaping and bigger excavating. So bigger retaining walls, bigger new construction landscapes, and a lot of that. And that's really where my passion is, and where all of our employees' passion is just seeing the finished project. One of the most and the majority of the projects that we do are just simple curb appeal updates. Anything from weed-infested rock beds to someone wanting some decorative curbing or just a transformation. Majority of why someone would want to change or update their landscape is obviously for curb appeal. The other is just to make it more functionable. That's what we specialize in, is a functionable landscape and low maintenance. That's usually the leading factors of why someone will contact us. With our paver patios, as you can see in the kind of diagram up there, the construction process, we'll excavate it all out. We'll lay in over 6 to 7 inches of base rock, and then we'll bring in our little screeding layer to lay them all in nice and perfect. With all of our retaining walls and patios, we have a 10-year guarantee for no sinking or settling. So if there's any issues, we'll come back and solve those. That project down there, that was a project that was, I guess, probably my first bigger project. I did that in my first year in the summer, in the afternoons and the weekends, and it's kind of hard to tell, but the customer had a roughly 15-foot slope that was super steep and not mowable, and we did a 7-foot retaining wall, and we regraded around it, and we got them a nice big patio with a little fire pit that they can enjoy. With retaining walls, there's a lot of different options. Either you can do the standard retaining wall block, or for a cost-effective option on some bigger walls is boulder walls. We also do the bigger Ready Rock blocks, which are like big Legos, which is why they're super fun to build. Same thing with retaining walls. There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of differences between companies on where you can save a buck versus where you can get it done that it'll last longer than the rest of the property. And that's really what we strive to do, is build a long-lasting product. A lot of what we do and a lot of what we specialize in and love to do are just regrades and new lawn installs. We get a lot of calls. Either they have a patchy lawn, or they had some work done from another contractor and they ran over their sprinklers and then they haven't used it for a while, or they had some concrete work done or their new roof put on and kind of got the whole yard all rutted up, and they just want it back to new, nice, easy to maintain. Another reason why we do a lot of our new lawn installs is they're having drainage issues. It's either puddling somewhere in their yard, it's flowing into their basement because it's not graded away properly. That is the biggest difference between us and other contractors, is we have the eye for details, especially for drainage. That's the biggest thing that is overlooked in any project, is drainage and where the water's going to go. And I will talk about that a little bit later on some other drainage solutions that we offer. We do a handful of land clearing and lot clearing, either like all the way on the right, just some brush hogging and clearing it up so that they could sell the property, which they ended up doing. Some tree removal, other kind of bigger site prep work. We do anything from before the home is there to a new construction to updating that landscape. For excavating and dirt work, we do a lot of residential excavating, so water line replacement, curb stop replacement, culvert and approach that we put in. We have all that landscape equipment and all the landscaping experience, and it ties hand in hand with residential excavating, and some of my employees have 30 to 40 years of experience doing that, so that's something that we love to offer as well. Another form of drainage that we do a lot of is we do a lot of French drains, which is basically, instead of just, if you regrade a yard, all that water flows on the top and it evenly disperses where you grade it to. Well, there's many aspects where your neighbor's yard is taller than yours and you can't grade it where you need to. So you can actually dig a little swale, that they call it, a little mowable ditch. So that's in that middle picture. That's a nice smooth ditch. That was in the construction phase before we got it all smoothed out and nice looking, but we'll do that. That collects all the water. And then from there, all the way on the right, we dig a trench. We have our filter fabric. We filter, that filters from the soil into the gravel in there. And then from there, we put a corrugated pipe. Just like in this picture here, it has holes in it. That trench fills up with water and it sucks that water in there and it flows it where you need to go. So we can tie in the city storm drains, and if not, we can flow it to somewhere else in your property where it'll nicely dissipate and not cause any issues. Some of my ideal referrals are homeowners who would like a new yard or landscape refresh. Anyone with drainage issues. Drainage issues, erosion issues, there's a lot of different options. If you call another contractor out, they'll have one opinion versus another opinion, and that's where I like to inform our customers as much as possible and tell them the differences on why they should do it this way versus that way. And then any other new constructions, some good connections to get me connected with new constructions are realtors, if they're obviously selling a home, or getting me connected with other home builders. That's all I got.
All right, go have a seat and we'll talk a little bit over here, introduce you to. So gather your questions if you've got them and we'll share them with Andrew. I've got a couple myself. So you were started when you were 14. You didn't go to any formal architectural school or anything like this. So this has all been kind of self-learned, self-taught and do that. So that's a lot of information there to gather in a few short years.
Yeah, there's a great thing called YouTube. Yeah, I just got really invested in it, and I've always been hands-on in kind of working with my hands in like the construction trade. Same with working on vehicles or equipment, and always ran equipment from when I was younger, and it just kind of, yeah, you grow up playing in a sandbox, and you get big enough where you can run your own equipment, and you have there's a lot of information out there, and it just takes a little bit of trial and error, and you can do anything that you need.
So as you've grown and you look at developing the crews at your age, did you have some individuals who are looking at you going, how can this guy possibly run in a company and tell me how to do my job? How was that for you when you started getting going?
Well, that's I guess why we're at this point. We took a step down. I had 7 to 8 employees the last 3 years, and this year there's only 3 of us. We stopped offering lawn care because of that same issue with employees. I have 3 really good guys, and we can knock out all of our bigger projects, and they're very, very skilled, and it's just a lot easier that way.
Now, how about the customers? Have you had customers look at you and say, can you really take on a $50,000, $60,000, $100,000 project and do that?
Honestly, not really. The customers have all been pretty simple because I walk around with them, and I look at their space and I express all the knowledge that I have, and they realize that they had 2 other estimates, 2 other contractors come look at it, and there was a lot of stuff that they didn't even point out that could be a potential issue, or just, while we're here, let's make this easier and figure it out.
So new services, are there other, so you got out of the lawn care side and you stuck with the hard and the landscaping and that kind of thing. Are there other services you're thinking you might want to add and grow the business with?
Yeah, we've worked hand in hand with a handful of in-ground pool installs, and with my 6 years of experience servicing them and working with them, we'd love to start offering some in-ground pools, which will be this next season.
Oh, so now we got swimming pools. Ross, you got a question?
Yeah. So what's been the project that you're the most proud of? Like the project that you're like, was whatever kind of space, and when you're done, you're like, yeah, that was awesome.
Actually, probably the last bigger job that we just finished up this spring, a really big commercial space. We were trying to fit it into his budget. That was one of the bigger boulder retaining walls. It was over 14 foot tall by 400 foot long in total. We had over 1,100 tons of material brought in and out to shape that space, and either that, since it was a nice bigger project and it's a lot more functionable for the customer, or honestly, a lot of the smaller projects have the bigger impact to the customer. So it's either from some of our very small projects we've done that have been really meaningful for the customer, or that one.
2 questions. One is, Krista and I were talking about, how do you move really huge rocks? Like a skid steer won't necessarily pick up one of those huge ones. How do you do that?
So that project that we did, I was limited on space on what excavator I could bring in there. So the big excavator is what I used to grab them all and set them. Some of those that were too big, the skid steer couldn't lift them. I had to nudge them around in the dirt and push them to where I could grab them with the excavator. And same thing with that excavator. I was kind of doing a wheelie the whole time trying to set them. But it was just, I had to look at what materials I could order, because the bigger the rocks, the easier it was for that job. But I needed the right equipment to get into that space. So it was just kind of a little bit of pre-planning to try and get it done.
Then another one, you don't have to share all the secrets, but how do you estimate some of these projects? Because oftentimes people are looking for, what's this going to cost?
Yeah, so everything we do goes off of our time and our materials. That's how I come up with a set price. So I'll meet with the customer, I'll look at a project, I'll get square footage, and I'll know how much that'll cost for materials. So retaining wall, 7 feet tall, this wide, this space. I know how long it'll take my guys to dig it out with certain equipment, how much the materials cost, how much time we're going to have invested, and then I'll calculate that all together and I'll just shoot over a price to the customer. So a lot of that was trial and error, getting it figured out, and then once we figured out our numbers within the company, we could be on the ball every estimate.
Brand, what have you seen as the most effective strategies for you?
Most of our work has came from word of mouth and amazing testimonials from customers. So wrapping some of our equipment when we're on the job, leaving a yard sign, just being seen, because you're working in one neighborhood, at least someone in that neighborhood is going to come by and comment on the landscape to us or our guys, or even when we're not there, the customers always say, oh, the neighbor came by and wondered who did that. So being visible really helps. And then we're trying to grow our social media presence, and that has seemed to help a lot too.
Well, they're going back. So for you, what are your favorite projects to work on? What if you got 2 or 3 and you had to choose one, which ones would you go after first?
Definitely the smaller retaining walls, like the boulder retaining walls. They're kind of tricky because unlike normal blocks, you can't just stack them up. You got to get the right piece, set it right. A lot of other contractors struggle with that, and those are super fun and satisfying. And then just certain projects where between me and all my guys, we just love using our equipment and sitting in the machine all day. So like a new lawn install, regrading a whole backyard, stuff where we can be in the equipment all day is fun for all of us. So.
Play in the dirt.
Exactly.
Hi, I want to take you back to that first summer that you said you were working like 70, 80, or 90 hours a week and you only took off like 2 days. That's astonishing to me. After that summer, were you like, oh my gosh, I got to figure out a better way to do this? Or was your reaction kind of like, that was such a fun summer, I can't wait to do it again?
Both. I committed to working with that pool company for 1 more year, and that's when I started my company on the side, and things just really blew up. So at that end of the summer, I was like, perfect. I've had more than enough work and more than enough clientele already that I know coming next year, I'll have no problem at doing this full time. So it was a little overwhelming and stressful, and I got tired, but it kind of realized in my head, like, okay, I have no problem, I can do this.
Okay. So we got a question that's coming from YouTube. So this one's going to be, how about your snow removal? How many all-nighters of snow removal and then full days of school did you do when you were in high school and pulling that off?
So I had over 30 to 40 tardies my senior year. And I had plenty of them from my first period when I would be out all night. And I actually had plenty of them over lunch period because I'd have my employees running full time, and I had 1 open period. So I had 50 minutes where I would go run to the dumps, go dump the dump trailer, or go run and grab my skid steer and move it from one job to the next. And so I actually had plenty of tardies from snow removal, but also working during lunch. Sure. And then I remember I've had countless 24 to 30-hour days, 40-hour days early on doing snow removal, where I'd go to school, and then right when I get done, I go fire up the skid steer and I go plow all night, and then 6 a.m., 7 a.m. the next day, I pull into the parking lot and maybe get an hour nap before I go in. So
unreal. So you started everything while you were in school. How did teachers react to this? I mean, so you talk about getting the tardy. Did they understand or give you a little bit of okay, it's work related, you're not out, partying all night long, that kind of thing, but were they pretty understandable with you since it was a business related thing, or?
A handful of them, yes. They never confiscated my phone when I was always on it or getting dings and buzzes all class. And I didn't really take any phone calls during class. I could just pull up my email, or if I had to shoot a text, I would. But with the tardies, sadly, no. There was no leniency on 1 or 2 minutes, even though when I was there the whole time I was present compared to most other kids. But no, they definitely, a lot of them supported it. And then a lot of them didn't quite realize what scale we were actually operating at the time.
So what about classmates and that kind of thing? So, because now you're a business owner as a junior in high school, and a pretty good sized operation. That had to kind of looked a little different that way.
Yeah, I definitely got a little bit of grief from some kids, just wearing the same clothes every day, showing up dirty, or yanking an ugly trailer into the parking lot. But other than that, I had a lot of buddies who would help with snow removal. Always need more shovelers to do some sidewalks and send them out to do some driveways when we're doing parking lots. And then a handful of those people, I still get them now that we're all graduated. I always get 1 or 2 people that I graduated with texting like, hey, do you have an opening spot this summer? I'm looking for work, so.
Good for you. Great.
I have to tell a funny story because I am Andrew's mom. And
Uh-oh.
I was the one that got the call about the 42 tardies or however many. And no, some teachers were not sympathetic. But he had so many tardies, and he had 3 days of school left, and he got into a little accident, and tried to cut his arm off. So we went to the ER, and they said, well, they could sew it up, or they could go and take him up to the OR and put him under and get it cleaned out so he doesn't have problems. So we picked that option, and after surgery, the surgeon comes out, and Andrew was supposed to go to school the next day and be in detention to make up for his tardies, or he wouldn't graduate. So the surgeon comes out, gives me some painkillers for him, prescriptions, and then he's like, do you need anything else? And I said, yeah, I need a note. If not, he's not going to graduate high school. And so the surgeon's like, well, this is a first. Okay. So we got a note. Andrew was not going to go to school the next day, but the weather was supposed to be super nice on Monday. So I said, well, you're going to have to make up detention on Monday. And I made him get up and eat something before he took his painkillers. And so he's like, fine, I'll just go to school, because we didn't get home till like 1 a.m. after surgery and all that stuff. So that day, it was like your last day of school before finals, your senior year, and I snapped a picture. I'm like, I took him to his first day of kindergarten, and I took him to his last day of high school. So.
Oh, that's a good story. Thank you. So how about when you're getting started, you're getting equipment, you're getting all of that kind of stuff, and you're a junior in high school, and you're sitting down with the banks or whoever it is you're looking for financing. Was that a little bit of an experience there as well, or?
Yeah, I had a little bit of money saved up, but not enough of what I needed. So I also went into the bank of mom and dad. Help me get my lawnmower that I needed and lawn care set up. And right away off the bat, I got a work truck, big lawn care setup, and then I got 2 brand new mowers. And then from there, it was just kind of working on everything that we needed. The business had enough in sales, and with my parents helping me, since I wasn't 18 yet, we could go in and buy equipment if needed.
Very good. Thank you. Yes, sir.
What do you attribute all of this like motivation and drive to do this? Like you're in high school, you're missing class, you're pulling all-nighters, and you're doing this stuff in the summer. What do you attribute all of this drive and motivation that you have to do this?
Well, a little bit of it was passion. I always just loved working with my hands, and with the pool company, we'd be 100 degrees out going and break up some concrete and sweating, and everyone else hated it, and it's kind of a little bit satisfying or fun. But then, and I got paid really well for what I was doing and for other people my age, and then after I realized I could just go shovel 5 driveways and make a couple $100 versus working a full week of breaking my back for a couple $100, I realized like this isn't so bad. I should just find the work myself. So that was a little bit of it. Getting started was obviously the money, and like that's what motivated me early on, and then it just kind of turned into more of a passion, just seeing what we can create, and then just it's always fun to run equipment, and it's kind of a passion that way. So.
Services doesn't appear to have work in the winter, or are you still offering snow removal?
Yep, so we offer residential and commercial snow removal in the winter. I'm trying to get connected with some other contractors or market for some of our services that we can offer in the winter as well. We've done a handful of breaking out some concrete and some asphalt in the winter, regrading some gravel parking lots so that they could get some Connex boxes leveled up and sat down. So we kind of take a step back in the winter and just offer snow removal, but I'm looking to see if I can sprinkle in a handful of projects as well.
That kind of leads me into my question of, is there projects that are too small or too large, or is there a sweet spot?
Well, we definitely, I guess, we do a majority of 1 day to 1 week projects, so majority of that 4 to 40 grand projects. But no project is too big. We work with a lot of contractors where we line it up, electricians, plumbers, everything, where we could do a full pool install, hardscape install with a kitchen and everything. And we've done smaller scale projects where we work with other contractors as well. And there isn't really a project that's too small. We always have rainy days or a half day on a Friday where we can go fit someone in to, just the other day, Friday afternoon last week, we fit someone in and we ripped out a hedgerow for them with our machine in a couple hours. So no projects too small, and no projects too big.
Good. So follow-up question, you said hardscape several times. What's a hardscape?
Hardscapes are just like the patios and the retaining walls. So paver patios, we have a really good concrete contractor we work with, other masonry work and retaining walls. We majority just do the retaining walls and paver patios, but hardscape in total, we offer all that.
So what does the rest of the year look like? Are you kind of booked out and already into 2027 and all of that kind of stuff? Are you pretty busy?
Yes and no. We can definitely handle a handful of more projects for this fall, and we're looking to get a lot more on the schedule still, especially if we can work later into the year like we have the last 2 seasons. Okay. We're usually only booked out 2 to 3 weeks at a time. So between now and the next month or 2, we should get a handful of projects booked for in the spring, but we can definitely still handle more this fall, and would love to get some. If we can get some booked for that next spring, some of them we can do over winter time, certain aspects of it, or early spring.
Good.
Hi, this was great. I'm curious, who or how do you handle the admin, like the scheduling, the invoicing, and just that side of the business?
Yeah, so I have CRM software we use that we can track a lot of stuff. I use QuickBooks and other forms like that to keep some of the paperwork intact. And Between me and my mother doing a lot of it, that's how we get a lot of the billing done. Other than that, all the leads come in online or phone call to me, and then we get them scheduled, get a time to meet, get them an estimate, and go from there.
So follow-up question to some of this with the fall and spring. So you said you've been able to work later into the fall. So you work right up until freeze and snowfall, or what's your timelines there?
We work as long as we can. We schedule the right project that we can accomplish it within our deadline. So we're not going to go into a 3-week project in October to dig up their backyard if we can't finish it. There's certain aspects that you can finish once it's snowing out, but most aspects you can't. So last year we finished up a handful of jobs, and we finished up a job that night. It started snowing, so we thought we were done for the year. Next week it had 4 really nice days, so we fit in a little 2-day project. So it's just playing with the weather and getting everything figured out.
So what's the dream and the vision? So where would you like to be? You know, mom and dad's bank is open and they got cash, and so what's the future? Sorry about that.
Well, that would be the dream.
What are you looking for in the future? What would be the ultimate dream for you?
Really, the most we kind of in the last year we have taken the biggest step up. Early on, we were doing a lot of smaller landscaping jobs, and the majority of our recognition came from other contractors. And within the last year, we've gotten connected with a lot more contractors, and they really recognize our vision for the details, which it kind of, in the contractor world, it kind of baffles us, some of the quality that comes out of other contractors who have been around for 20, 30 years. But that's kind of my vision, is just be the one-stop shop for high-quality outdoor living. Be able to solve everyone's landscaping problems, just make functional outdoor living spaces, and that's kind of just continue what we're doing, just take it to the next level.
Joe?
Great presentation. Thank you for being here today. So looking at the rules different municipalities have, how have you learned to navigate building codes with retaining walls, right-of-way permits for doing things in the boulevard, things like that, and navigating the differences between Bismarck and Mandan?
Yeah, so that's a lot of things that have come up early on, is working with other contractors. They've told us the do's and the don'ts. There's a couple contractors early on who helped us make sure we followed all the rules we needed and figured that out. And then from there, just hiring some of the more experienced guys that I've had. A lot of the residential landscaping, there isn't as much of building codes and everything compared to bigger construction or contracting, but we figured that out. And then we work with a really good plumber on all of our sewer lines and water lines that we need to replace, and he pulls all the permitting for all that and gets stuff lined up. And some of our older employees have had 30, 40 years of experience in this field, so they know what to look for, and then I just do what I need to do to get it done.
So following up on that a little bit, you talk about the Bismarck Mandan. How far out will you go? So what is your service area? And
majority of what we do is Bismarck Mandan surrounding area, but we'll go anywhere within the state. We've done jobs up in Steele, McCluskey, way north of Mandan, way south of Mandan. We'll travel up to the lake. We'll kind of go anywhere for the right project. Especially those lake homes and people out of town and like a farmstead, they don't really have a good option for contractors. It's either the neighbor down the road with some equipment, or it's a company who's also traveling and charging a ridiculous markup. So a lot of the guys like to, if we can go out of town for a night or two and get a nice project done.
So next year when you start pools, All right. How do you see that balancing out? So pool project, I'm assuming, is not going to be a 1 or 2 week type deal. And then fitting all your other jobs that you have in type. So is that another crew? Is that getting yourself bigger and more equipment and all of that kind of stuff? And
Yeah, so we have a lot of the equipment and experience, that's like the biggest thing you can do for time savings. I'm still planning on we're having a 4-man crew, and all the rest we'll sub out certain aspects of it. But for a pool install, you can get a pool, liner pool installed in less than a week's time, and then the landscaping around it takes another 2 to 3 weeks depending on it. Fiberglass pool, you can get that dug, installed, and up and going in around 3 days, and then you landscape around it. So a lot of those will be anywhere from that 2 weeks to a month and a half job. But we'll do all the landscaping and the patios and stuff around it, and then we'll have our other highly qualified contractors do some of the other work on the side, so everything goes smoothly.
so we're getting into all of these types of things, the retaining walls, and now you get people coming in, because now the big thing that I'm hearing about is more and more backyard kitchens, the fireplace stuff. Are you seeing more in that kind of thing too, where you're seeing the patios and the big eat-out kitchens and
Yeah, so ever since COVID, everyone was stuck in their homes, and they realized, like, wow, there's nothing to do. Yeah, there's been a lot more outdoor living, or people are around their homes so much, and they realize, like, this is not easy to maintain, or it's not a functionable space. They're a family of 4, and they have friends and family come over, and they need to host for 10 to 12 people, and they have a little area like this, and it's hard to navigate the backyard. It's not functionable. So that's the number one kind of aspect why we see some of the bigger projects that we do. They just want to be able to entertain their friends and family and enjoy and invest into their home.
so I got one question before I forget it. Do you get people that'll call and say, I just have this backyard. You got ideas for me, what I can do? And is that kind of fun for you to just go in and just throw out all kinds of different thoughts for them and go from there?
Yeah, that's probably one of the most satisfying things is just I get to walk around and express all these ideas to a homeowner and show them all these samples on here can go here, here can go here, and they have a good aspect of it, and they really trust us. And then when you take them out for that finished product, they're even more shocked because we see their vision on how they want to use the space, and then they see our craft on what we just accomplished. And yeah.
You had a question?
Yeah, asking for a friend. No, say I have like a 2 or 3 day project. How long are you guys booking out to? Like when would you be able to?
Right now the guys were killing it. We're only a week and a half booked out. Usually we're 2 to 4 or 5 weeks booked out. All spring we were over a whole month booked out, and we had a time where we were knocking out 3 jobs a day, a lot of smaller, medium jobs. We'd go prep a rock bed one day, get it concrete curbed, and then come back the next day and install it. And we do 2 to 3 of those a day, and so the guys really caught back up. We have a lot of estimates out there, a lot of really good jobs. But as of right now, booked out, we're only a week and a half unless we get some of those accepted.
So I get to have the last question as well. So thanks again for your presentation. Doing what I do, it's super exciting. We got to talk later. So, what can we as the 1 Million Cups community do to help you to succeed?
One of the biggest things is obviously most of you guys are homeowners, and a lot of you guys talk to your neighbors. You hear of all the issues going on with, oh, my backyard is always puddling after a rain. My basement's getting water in it. I've been waiting and trying to get this done, but no one calls me back. So those are all trigger words on where we'd definitely be able to come in and help. Other than that, good connections with other contractors of all kinds, and different professionals like realtors, mortgage lenders, a lot of different people that deal with homes would be a really good connection.
All right, I'm assuming you got some business cards with you.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll leave some time for you to be able to visit with some folks down here at the end. So, ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Schmidt with Schmidt Seasonal Services. Thank you, Barry. Thank you. All right. Okay, so over the next few weeks, what we have coming up next week is Polari Sisters Publishing, Linda Donlin and Peggy Anderson. And then we have The Edge with Markel Evans. And in August, we have behind the scenes events with Megan Venstall. One of the things that we need to look at and remember is that starting next week, I believe, we are at Belmehus, right? Because the theater here will be shut down and they're replacing all the seats. And then on the 19th, we're still looking for a venue for that to confirm. We're working on a couple places, but I do believe, are you up on that? Ross or Noah, am I right on that? Next week we're at Bell? Not sure either. I believe we are. Watch our Facebook page and make sure, but I do believe we're at the Bell next week on the 12th. And then the 19th, we are looking for a spot as well to fill, and we will make that announcement. So, they're the upcoming events. November 11th, we will have our 13th season anniversary. So save that date. We're finalizing where we're going to have that and what we're going to do. It's usually a really fun evening. We bring in all of our presenters that we've had from the years so you can visit with them, get to visit with each other. How many have attended that in the past? So you know it's a good time, right? So come and enjoy it with us. Anything else that anybody has that we need to cover before we wrap up totally? All right, so thank you very much. Have a minute or two with Andrew, visit with him. Andrew, thank you so much. It was a great presentation. We're ready to go. Thank you much. Have a good week.